North Dakota, good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
We have trouble with
For them to affirm, and then it's on them.
Right. It may be that they have to provide a history of where they've lived, and you can confirm that. I mean, Dagorhir might have to pay a subscription fee to a data mining service. But I mean, hell, I've hit data mining services, random Google searches of my name kind of stuff, where it's like, holy crap, that's the house my sister used to live in, and it's linked to me because my sister and I bought a house together years later. I'm like, what's that doing in my history? But it'll show pretty easily where most people have lived, enough to where...
You're getting into kind of deep waters there.
Well,
you're going to spend up a lot of time or a lot of money to do it. And I think, as an attorney, just saying, I think the affirmation is the way to go.
Okay. A couple other things.
Okay.
Thanks. In the document that I'd like to point out, if you flip to the page, it says bulletin board rules. The next to the last page,
one of his
page
parents
7.
here?
That are not numbered.
It's one of his parents here, so he
One of the things that we did about 16 years ago was include some language in the bylaws, addenda, that dealt with the Dagorhir website and other things were at that point evolving technologies. The bulletin board, aka the forums that are not much used anymore, we had the language that follows here. And I put we should consider reworking when we have modern forums developed. But also, how do we handle the Dagorhir Facebook groups? And specifically, Dagorhir Unmod. The Dagorhir Facebook group was, and the Unmod group, were both founded by Iron Will. And he's a staunch libertarian, believes in absolute freedom of speech. But those pages use the service marked Dagorhir name. We own that name, and it's illegal for somebody to use it without permission. And there are huge fines. I think it's $17,000 per use, and greater if you can prove they're making a profit from it. For somebody using that without permission. So it's one of these things where if we were to say, hey, Will, you have to take down, you have a lawyer send him a letter that says, you have to take down Dagorhir Unmod, 3 more will spring up to take its place. Something similar, that says Dag Unmod rather than Dagorhir. But it's a concern. And for me personally, I got pulled in August, 8 o'clock on a Thursday night. I get pinged by friends saying, hey, you need to be reading this stuff. And there's all this fury because a Dagorhir member in Wisconsin had been outed as being one of the marchers in Charlottesville. And on his website was a link to Dagorhir Iceni. And so all of a sudden news groups are putting out pictures of his website with Dagorhir featured as one of the things he likes. So so all of a sudden there was all this concern about what do we do about Nazis and how do we handle this? Why doesn't Dagorhir have a policy about Nazis? If the makers of tiki torches have a statement condemning Nazism, why doesn't Dagorhir? And I'm like, because we don't need to, because Nazis are bad. I mean, anyway. This is another thing that needs to be discussed. We've had discussion going on among the legal team that was put together, and it's been pointed out by one of the attorneys on that group. And Inox, I don't know what kind of law you practice, but if you are interested and available to be part of that discussion, thanks. I'll hook you up. We want to make sure that we are coming up with ways to exclude people who actively promote hate speech, especially if they, you're allowed to believe anything you want, all right? This is America. But if you get onto a Dagorhir related page and start espousing, well, all Jews must die, that right there, you've now crossed the line into something that Dagorhir should act on. And then, to Inox's point earlier, if somebody's on a registered sex offender registry, that's something else where it's something that is concrete that we can act on. So again, things to discuss. And on the last page, one of the things about banning individuals from Dagorhir events, which starts on page 7 and goes on to page 8, abusive language or other behavior unbecoming a Dagorhir member applying a reasonable person standard. So abusive language, not just smack talk among fighters, but truly abusive, derogatory language. Oh, gingers are all really depraved.
He knows that.
Okay, well, we need to figure out how to do that in a reasonable manner. And I didn't include the Dagorhir chapter contract was actually attached here, but I was having formatting issues and didn't bother to put it in there. If you want to read it, if you have concerns about it, please do. Let's see. It took 3 months to do it, but I did finally get myself added and Blackhawk removed from the Dagorhir bank accounts. I don't know. I'm really displeased with PNC Bank that it takes 3 months to do a normal change of officers for an organization. And I think
You got a hand up.
And one other thing that I would like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You want to change banks?
Possibly. Yeah, we'll see. Tekka, did you bring a statement for where we're at on the air target training?
No.
Can you hand me that receipt that I gave you, the deposit I made last month? Yep.
Oh man.
Assuming it doesn't have the balance. We have something over $3,000 in.
We have 3,792.
Oh, not that he's counting.
3,792.
But what about also the GoFundMe?
The GoFundMe has a little over $5,000. I think it was
5,297.
5297.
Green man.
Okay. And less 41 for what we just put out. And it's about to be less 500 more for the down payment to the designer, and then possibly another 500 for the rest of the work.
How much was the WordPress license?
It wasn't WordPress. It was the template within WordPress. We already.
How much was for the template in WordPress?
$41.
Okay. You said we saved 20, but you never said the price. I thought that was kind of quirky.
All the banks in there are all, we had an account on containers and changed quarterly, changed our net, get it out, a steady person.
I'll be back here.
Good idea. Plus they're certified, so they're background check.
Well, if you're volunteering to research that and make a proposal, I'm all for it. Right, and one last thing, and that is I'm going to be talking to Garundi, who is our absent VP, trying to look into getting us insurance and setting up insurance that can be bought into by other chapters. You know, one of the things that we as the founding Dagorhir chapter need to be doing is providing leadership, not oversight, not ordering around, but provide leadership to the younger chapters. We had insurance before. It's gone away. We need to.
Now I'm really pissed off.
We need to get it. So, any other questions, comments, criticisms, or wisecracks?
I thought you were planning on outlawing flails. You put it on the agenda.
No, you will.
This is just an announcement. If you haven't been aware, the small table next to check-in is for Yule Feast tickets. Hey, Koo, how many tickets have we sold?
40.
40? That means less than 60 tickets are left.
20 because we have.
That's why I said less. So, if you want to be at Yule Feast December 9th at Patuxent River Park, it's only $10. The feast will be provided. We encourage people to bring desserts. Please spread the word. I'll be making this announcement again before fighting starts.
Buy tickets. You're loaded.
Any other business?
Second to move to adjourn.
Okay. It's been seconded. This meeting is over. Thanks everyone for coming by.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing it. Thanks for doing it now so that we can fight longer in the afternoon.